Hello and welcome to the live trading room recap for Thursday, November the 12th. My name is Barry Enerson. I'm the moderator of our trading room. This is the address to get into the room, and the room is open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am live on the mic during those times. Okay, let's take a look at some of the things that I did today. Well, the most interesting one was the MMS. Now, MMS, it had earnings before the market opened, but it didn't really have any. Let me make sure I got yeah, I got the pre-market here. Really had no action in the pre-market, which is kind of strange because obviously the earnings were not good. But it popped up immediately on my down the most in dollars, immediately right around right at 9:30, I think 9:32 or whatever. And you can see, I mean, it's still down $15. I mean, at one point it was down at 48, so that's another $6 or so, $5 or $6. So, this stock was just completely and utterly beat up, and it was an earnings play. So just like the MIDD yesterday that I played for a bounce, I really was interested in playing this one also. Now, it was a little more difficult than the MIDD. And in fact, the first time I actually got into the trade, okay, I want to say 53.30. So it was right around here. Got into the trade the first time, right around on that candle there. And then as it came back down, I got out. I got out at 53, took the trade out at 53. But, I thought, okay, a little premature. Let's see what happens later. And so as it popped back up again, I retook the trade at 54.42. Yes, 54.42. So actually right about here, took the trade right about there at 54.42. This time it worked. I mean, it popped up, and obviously I was hoping for a lot more. Like the MIDD yesterday gave me about $4. Uh, this one, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, can't complain too much. I got out at 55.58, so for right around here. I said to the room I wanted to get at least $1 on one part of it, and so from 54.52 to 55.58, and then as it started coming back down, I exited at 55. So now I was even thinking of going short right around here, but I'll have to wait, and there's another hour and 45 in the market to go. So and the market is very weak today. Again, I think it's down a couple hundred points as we speak. So the market is weak. Now. The disappointing trade of the day was Tex. And, disappointing in that Tex came from, and we only had, as we speak, we only had 5 trades in the AI channel. And Tex was a short, was right in this one. Does that make sense? Under $20. Yes, this was multi-day low under $20. Let me just show you the strategy on their strategy trades on this one. So there's Tex at 1981 to short. Okay, now you notice we got stopped out at for a 4-cent loss. I actually took a bigger loss on that, but this was a time, it sort of obeyed the time, and I think it was a only a 30-minute hold. So the problem is that so I actually got into the short at 1976, right about here, right in this level here. And then you see that it popped up. It started down a little bit and then it popped up and it got actually over 20. And I actually exited right around here at 1998. And then it started coming down again. And so I reshorted it. And let me make sure I got my, yeah, reshorted it at 1965, right about here. So I reshorted it right about here, and then it popped back up. No, right here, and it went down, got down to 1957. But and then in this candle, it started moving back up, and I took the short out basically where I shorted it. So for flat. The only reason I did that is because of this action here. I was of course worried that okay, maybe this is going to be the pattern. And have a dip, then it's going to come up again and dip, and well, and this time it didn't. So it's just too bad that the AI channel alerted us to the short right here instead of right there. But obviously it didn't know. that it was going to have this little pop up, but because it turned into just a delectable short after that. I mean, I'm kicking myself for not holding it, from 1965 down to 1922, a great percentage gain. But actually it points to the fact that, just because perhaps it doesn't, they don't work the first time, don't lose sight of them, especially now that we are only having, well, notice we just had another one come in here, RLYP. But especially the fact that we have a manageable number of alerts now that we can follow during the day. I mean, six alerts. I know some people are complaining that, wow, we're only getting, first of all, six strategies, and we have six alerts. Believe me, I would much rather have only six alerts than 60 alerts like we were getting. It's just way too hard to follow. So, but that, obviously that's my preference. But it just points to the fact that, don't lose sight of these because, they can turn into winners later on. And even though, yes, I did reshort it and I just didn't hold it, that was my bad. I mean, there's no question about that. Um, let's see, what other one can I go over? Yeah, KLXY. Another kind of a blunder in my part. I did take the short here at 32.69. And this was another one. So it's close enough. So this is another one. This was second on my list of potential bounce plays, and you can see it bounce a little bit, but for me there was no entry. I mean, yeah, it's a 15-minute candle. It's just really no entry, and then it started sliding and sliding and sliding. Now, again, I know people have asked me for this. You can't have this one. There are too many custom formulas in here. But this is the strategy that Trade Ideas developed for me about 4 years ago now. This is probably one of their very, very first execution consulting strategies. And I got the alert at 32.68. I actually did trade flow also. I took a quick scalp on it, 23.25 to 23.18. It really went nowhere after. But these used to work quite well, and so that's why I decided to resurrect this because the market is getting weaker now. We were having multiple days now where we're just getting 100-point down days, 200-point down days. So I wanted to resurrect this one. So people say, well, how could you short? I mean, look how far down it was already, $39, and it's already down $7. But I decided to take the short, and unfortunately, I got a little too jumpy on it, and I took the short at 32.69, and I exited. I took some out, which that's okay. I don't mind taking that first part out. Took a little bit out at 32.45. Okay, let me just draw the arrow here. But then as it came back up, I got out of the trade. But then immediately it started dropping again. And, obviously I wish I had just held it. I mean, look at that. I mean, that tail right down to 31.68. So there's a dollar right in that move. So even though it's already down like $7, $8, it tacked on another dollar. And I just have to have a little more faith in this, especially if the market is going to be weaker and weaker now. The only other one I just want to briefly talk about is not this one, is uh, A- ATHM. I think that's the symbol. No, just 1 second, please. Yeah, it was Anthera. And this came from, now this is something that Dan uses all day long. You can request it if you want to have this. You can request this one, and there's a couple of custom formulas in here, and that's why I just can't copy and paste it for you. So they have to actually create them and drop them into your account. But this came in at, I first saw this at, I think it was 519 or 512. That's where I took the trade. I got out at 521. It popped up and then it started coming down. I'm using this as potentially a bit of a scalp type trade, or something that's going to alert me to scalp trades. Now they could run a lot more, but again, if you don't know what this is doing, and it's kind of neat. What it does is, and you see I have these two columns, and I'm sorted on this one, the efficiency in 30 minutes. So what it's doing is, if I can, here's my analogy as I try to explain it to people. Um, let's say two stocks are up 4% for the day. And one stock, it's taken $1 million to do that. And to make the math really easy, or say $4 million. Let's make the math really easy. So say a $4 stock has traded a million shares, so that's $4 million worth of buying. Okay, and and it's gone up 4%. Another stock, doesn't really matter what the prices are, but it's taken $8 million worth of buying to go up the same amount, 4%. So you could argue that the one that has gone up 4% and only $4 million is more efficient, has had its money has been spent in a more efficient way than the one that has taken $8 million to go up. So they've created a couple of custom formulas based on that. So what this one does is it looks just over the last 30 minutes to see what the most efficient trades have been or stocks have been, and I just sort on that. I just literally just sort on this column. This one is for the whole day. What has been the most efficient for the whole day? I'm looking at just at the last 30 minutes. I could do a 15-minute one if I wanted, and I may even add a 15-minute one in order to get even maybe a quicker trade on something. And it's something I want to experiment with. But anyway, that's where the Anthera came in, and gave me a nice quick little trade. I mean, I got in at 412, and it took about 30 minutes for me to get in and out. But it wasn't bad, and it was an experiment. I'm just kind of experimenting with this and say, Dan, what he does is he cycles through this all day long, and I don't have its symbol linked. And he actually tries to find things which may even be looking like they're going to turn around. So you see this one. I mean, this has obviously been beaten up badly. I think it's had lots of devastating news and all that. But, maybe it's starting to turn around a little bit. Anyway, this is just something as the market kind of settles down, towards the end of the day, when we're not getting, obviously, maybe some of the more interesting things that, of course, happen in the first hour. I'm going to turn to this one and just kind of, monitor it. Let's just for fun take a look at the JNK. Probably doesn't interest me as much because it's all of this up here, but you can see why the ANT. Let me just click on it. You can see why maybe it's gone now. The ANTH. First of all, it's on an upswing. It was through the whole number. It, obviously it's got, and I'm not looking for a big increase, but it, has a little bit of room. For a $5 stock to go 20 cents would have been great. Now it didn't quite give me 20 cents, but through the whole number and, not a lot of intraday resistance. So I am going to be monitoring this going forward, especially as the day progresses and things start to slow down and maybe see some interesting looks. All right, that's it for today. Let me just back these out. And again, the way to get into our room, this is the link. We're open from 9 to 4. I'm live on the mic between those two times, and I hope to see you in our trading room tomorrow.